computer. All right, we're recording. Okay, you guys, so welcome to our leadership Zoom, and I just want to thank Jennifer Jobson for making a really cool banner for one of our, we have a page. Once you get to director, then you'll be added to that page as well as somebody that's going to one day host one of these Zooms. So it's going to be really great and really exciting. I know there's a lot of you that are getting very, very close. So, you know, we're going to focus on just getting everybody really comfortable with kind of talking in front of a group. And if this is a safe group, right? We all love each other. So I get nervous doing these every single time. So just know that that's normal. Somebody once told me a long time ago that everybody gets nervous when they talk. It just means you're alive. So anyway, I just want you guys to really look forward to hosting and really look forward to being asked, you know, to maybe team up with a host until it's your time, until you're a director and executive. So the very first thing that we're always going to do on this, the host is going to share, you know, their 30-second or 3-minute story. There's 2 different versions, you know. Sometimes you can share a 30-second story if you really have to share it very quickly. Sometimes if you have a little bit more time, maybe you're sitting over coffee or lunch, you can make it about 3 minutes. But you really want to get good at sharing the same story. You can elaborate in certain areas, like I said, if it's going to be a 3-minute versus a 30. But just really kind of get good at some of the bullet points. And so what I did is I wrote my story out, and I want to go ahead and I want to read it to you guys so you can kind of see the sequence. And we had an outline, and these are the 5 steps. So let me go through those first before I share my story. So number 1 is before Isagenix ... Okay? Number 2 of sharing your story is I was introduced to Isagenix by ... And number 3 is I have been on the products for ... And number 4 is as a result, I am now. And number 5 is I believe. Okay, so my story is going to go right along those 5 points. Okay, and you guys, somebody can time me. I think this is going to be a 30-second story. Okay, so hi, my name is Rachel Gershowitz, and I am so excited to share with you all tonight. I love Isagenix. I have been with this amazing company for a little over 8 months. 8 incredible months. Prior to Isagenix, I was with another company, and I was in the top 100 income earners. I had lost my passion to share the opportunity and the product line. Had some health issues that I've been battling for a few years. I couldn't use the products that I was representing. The compensation plan also had a little breakaway, meaning the larger my business grew, I found my paychecks going backwards. I knew my future was in network marketing because I love this industry so much. But I needed a company that I could call my forever home. That's when I called my friend Lynn Hagedorn. I've been secretly watching her build her empire for years. After talking with her and her husband, Michael, reviewing the amazing compensation plan that paid to infinity and trying the products, I was sold. As a result, I feel better than I have in years, and my passion is finally back. I truly believe that this is the best company with the best products and the best compensation plan. I finally found my forever home. Was that 30 seconds? Maybe? Okay, close enough. Okay, so you're all on mute. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, so whatever your story is for you, okay? So you can be a little bit more product heavy on your story. You can be business heavy on your story. What I like to know is I like to kind of know my audience, who it is that I was talking to. And if they're really all about products, I'm going to go heavier on my product side. I'm going to talk a little bit more about why I love these products so much. And if I know that they're sitting with me because they want to learn more about the business, I'm going to go a little bit heavier on the business side. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. All right, so I'm going to introduce our guest speaker tonight, and I'm going to tell you, this is so much fun. You know, when I started in this industry, it was 2001. I was a shy, quiet, stay-at-home mom of 3 kids. My boys were 4 and 5 years old, and my daughter was 2. And this woman came to my house from Ohio, and she actually sang my daughter to sleep. And I just love this woman. She has been in the industry way longer than I have. And she is an amazing trainer. She's actually just getting back on the horse. She took a little time off of building a network marketing business, but she has had such incredible results on our products that she decided to join us in Isagenix and build a business. So I'm just so happy to have you with us, Kathy. Kathy, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thanks. I remember that too. Somewhere over the rainbow on the floor in your master bedroom.
Yes, exactly, because she wouldn't sleep in a bed or a crib.
This big.
Yeah.
She wouldn't sleep in the bed.
Exactly.
Well, my story is a little different, and since you're all here from the business side, and I want to attract business leaders, I'll share some of my business side with you too. But Rachel and I, it's been 17 years, Rachel.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So I have some notes in front of me. Mine are on my screen to my right, so you'll have to excuse me if I look that way every once in a blue moon. But actually, before Isagenix, health-wise, I was a mess. I'm 54 in May, and when I was 7, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Spent my life in hospitals and comas, and I was just a real mess when I discovered Isagenix through Rachel, and it was really kind of just a happenstance. So when I started this, I really had no interest in doing the business. I just wanted to be able to walk when I got out of bed. I wanted my blood sugars down to normal ranges. I wanted to just turn my whole health around. My husband had become a type 2 diabetic. He was way overweight, had lots and lots of health problems, and basically was a type 2 diabetic with a heart attack waiting for a spot to happen. That's how bad he was. So it was kind of strange. I had been on a hiatus from network marketing for about 7 or 8 years. Rachel and I were in the same company together. And like her story and Lynn Hagedorn's story, you know, you find sometimes that the place you're in, the company is broken and you can no longer feel good about the products and you can't teach people how to make money. So unfortunately, I didn't have that cannonball approach like Lynn had. I had my cannonball sunk to the bottom of the ocean and I lost hope in this industry. I lost hope in all of it. I threw all my books and CDs and tapes away, including Michael Klaus's. See this? Bad girl. Had to start all over again. So I really had lost all hope. And I was very, very unhappy where I was, but I stuck it out for the paycheck because my husband had lost his job after 23 years, employee of the year, never took his vacation, would do anything for anybody. And it was a wrongful termination and that led us into a lawsuit. And it's been very ugly and disheartening. And now I'm watching him work retail hours any day of the week. We never get weekends together, and he makes like $10 an hour and was a professional in teaching. So it's been very disheartening. He's 60 years old and nobody wants to hire him. So what's so ironic is the company that I was pulling back from and just collecting that paycheck and just being unhappy, and I went back to corporate. I was kind of the top of the food chain, I guess we'd call it, Rachel. And Rachel was one of my rock stars in this company, and it just went like this, and Kathy shut down. But somebody that was in that company actually tipped me off that Rachel had left her other company. And I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. So I refriended her, and I started spying on her and to see what she was doing. And then I messaged her and I'm like, so what are you doing? And it just kind of took off from there. So now that I've been on the product since September, I'm down, I think it's 22 pounds. My blood sugars are down like in the normal range. And I know we can't make medical claims. So this is my disclaimer. These were my results. I couldn't walk when I get out of bed. Now I walk and I feel great. I go for hikes. I don't have to stop every football field and have my husband pick me back up. I sleep through the night. I literally was living on antidepressants, coffee, and wine. That's what got me through the day before I got to Isagenix. So I started with the product, told Rachel, you know, don't even think about this business thing because I'm like burnt out with that. And then my friends started asking me what I was doing. And I was like, well, I'm not going to refer them to Rachel. I'm going to refer them to me. So that basically is my story, and I wanted to share that business side with you. Hard when you've lost your hope in the industry and you have to get it back. So my belief now is that I can make other people feel better, just like my husband and I and my family are feeling better. I've now partnered with my daughter and my son-in-law. My daughter watched me go through some really rough times with network marketing, so it was really hard to get her turned around, and it took her listening to Rachel and Lynn Hagedorn to say, wow, there's something to this. So my belief is that my children have hope, and we have hope, and I might not necessarily be able to walk away from corporate soon, but I'd like to rescue my husband from retail and have our weekends back and more than one vacation a year that's paid for. So that's my belief and my hope right now. So I know that was a little longer. I was probably the 3-minute girl.
That's all right. 3-minute girl is good because that's quite an impactful story. Wouldn't you guys agree? You know, you covered both. You covered the product side, you covered the business side, and so whoever it is that you're talking to, you're definitely gonna hit them. And you know, the 30-second story, I just firmly believe, like, if you're in a situation where you just really can't talk to them, but you want to get something out, that's your 30 seconds. So you just need to have something at the tip of your, tongue so that you can kind of capture them and intrigue them, but not tell them everything.
Yeah.
Until, of course, you can get them in front of you for coffee or dinner or on a Zoom or on a call. So what I'd like to do now is I just want to talk to y'all about 3-way calls. I think this is the most underutilized tool that we could possibly have in our toolbox. How many of you don't use 3-way calls?
Well, not very good at it.
Yeah. And you know what I think, and you guys might feel the way that I feel, you probably don't use 3-way calls because you don't want to bother your upline, right? You don't want to, you just feel bad asking for help. I know for me, that's why, I do ask Lynn and Michael for help. But it took me a long time to get comfortable with asking for help because I just never liked to ask for help. So anyway, I want to encourage you all that in this business, the 3-way call is the most effective tool that you could possibly use. Okay? And if you have a sponsor, which you all do, then you need to ask them to do 3-way calls, because I don't know about some of you guys as sponsors out there, but when my team asks me to do a 3-way call, I am excited about it because that means they're out there, they're talking to people, and they want to close some deals, and they want to get people on their team, and they want to get people on products. So I'm always stoked if somebody asks me to do a 3-way call. Okay, if you're not asking me, if I'm your sponsor and you're not asking me to do 3-way calls, I think maybe you're just not talking to enough people. Okay, so let's just make sure that we clear that up. So how many of you, you're all sponsors, right? You all have at least somebody on your team. How many of you would be thrilled if that person on your team said, hey, will you hop on a 3-way call? I have a hot prospect. You'd be thrilled, right? Okay, so now let's talk about how do you have a 3-way call effectively. Okay, I've had some crazy 3-way calls where, the person just didn't quite know what to do. They just kind of threw me in and poof, disappeared. I've had, 3-way calls where maybe it just didn't go in the right direction. And so the most important thing you can do, if you don't have it set up ahead of time, and you can set it up ahead of time. So let's say you're talking to, let's say, Pam is talking to Jennifer. And Pam says, hey, Jen, I really want you to meet one of my business partners, Rachel, because you guys have a very similar story. Do you have time maybe later on this afternoon? Let me contact her and see if she has a few minutes, because I think you'll really be able to relate to her. So you don't want to call me sponsor. You don't want to call me, you don't want it to be like, oh, we're sending the closer in, right? And we heard Lynn say that on a recent Zoom. Okay, you want it to be more like a relational kind of thing. Like, oh my gosh, your story sounds so similar to my friend Rachel, and she's happens to be my business partner. And do you have some time later on today? And then that way you can get on the phone with your sponsor, and you can kind of share a little bit about that person that you're going to connect them with, so that they have a little bit of a background, so that way the sponsor knows kind of the angle to kind of take when sharing her story. So like if I knew, if Pam had me on the phone, told me I was going to talk to Jennifer, her sponsor, her prospect, and I knew that Jen maybe had some health issues, or maybe she was a stay-at-home mom, and it was painful for her to have to leave. She wanted to stay home, but she maybe had to work, or whatever the case may be. I would know kind of more what to say because I had a little briefing. Now, you do not have to set it up ahead of time. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 steps that if you're talking to somebody on the phone, okay, and let's get this really clear. We want to get people on the phone. This age of messaging is messing us all up, okay, because it's a really big cop-out. Okay, you can go through messaging. You can text back and forth a couple of times, and you can message back and forth a couple of times. But the ultimate goal is to get them offline and on the line. You want to get people on the phone. And you don't necessarily want to get them on a three-way Zoom. If they're in the industry and Zoom is normal for them, get them on a three-way Zoom. But if they're not in the industry, Zoom is like an alien term. They don't even know what it is, or it's intimidating that, you might scare them away that way. Okay, so you want to get people on the phone. So you're getting somebody on the phone. You've not prepared your upline at all that you're going to pull them in on this call. Okay? You're talking, you're asking questions. The goal is to ask enough questions that you can find out what their pain is. Okay? You want to know, is their pain that they have a health issue like Kathy? Is their pain that they cry every morning when they drop their kids off at daycare? Is their pain that they're living paycheck to paycheck? What is their pain? And you can find out what somebody's pain is if you ask enough questions. Okay, so you're talking, you're chatting with your prospect. You're being really, really friendly, and you're asking a lot of questions about them. Okay, you're taking notes. Okay, always take notes when you're talking to somebody. Okay, then you're going to say, you know what? And Pam and Kathy, I'm going to use you for this right now. Okay, so Pam is going to be our prospect. Okay, and I'm going to be Kathy's upline. Okay, and Kathy is going to ask me, actually, Kathy, you're going to be my upline because I have the script in front of me. It'll be easier that way, okay? So Kathy's my upline, Pam's my prospect. Okay, there's 10 steps on having a successful three-way call. Okay, and I will go ahead and
post. You just turn this around on me.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You don't really have to say much. Okay?
You just turn this around on me, so I'm the upline now.
That's all right. Just go with it.
Just go sign her up, Rachel. Don't worry about it.
All good. Okay. So the very first step is first you want to chat.
Just went off script.
First chat with your prospect. Okay. So I'm just going to be chatting with Pam, and I'm trying to find out what Pam's pain is. Okay. I'm asking her a lot of questions. Okay. Until she just starts talking. Okay. Because if you ask enough questions, they're just going to start talking. Okay. And so then after I hear about Pam, I'm going to kind of cut her off after I get it. Like finally, okay, I know what Pam's pain is. Okay, I'm going to say, hey, Pam, would you mind holding on for a second? We all have been told, to hold, right? It's not a big deal. So Pam goes, yeah, I can hold on a minute. So now I'm going to merge. Okay, y'all have an iPhone or an Android. Do you know how to pull somebody in? Do you know that you can actually dial somebody and talk to them while Pam's on hold, and I can say, hey, Kathy, do you have a few minutes? And Kathy will say, yeah, I have a few minutes. Okay, I've got Pam, the prospect, on the other line. And Pam's pain is blah, 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 quickly, because I don't want to leave Pam on hold very long, right? Okay, so Kathy, her pain is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Kathy goes, cool, I got it. And I go, okay, hold on. And then I hit the merge button. Okay, I hit the merge button. It pulls us both into Pam. And I go, hey, Pam, while I was listening to your story, it made me think of my friend Kathy. My friend Kathy, she's one of my business partners, and she has a very similar story to you. Kathy, would you mind sharing a little bit about, blah, blah, blah? And then I hand it off to Kathy, because Kathy's my upline, okay? I zip my mouth. I have my notebook and my pen ready, because now I'm a student, okay? And Kathy's she knows exactly what to do. She knows how to talk to Pam. She knows how to share her story in a way that will relate to Pam based on the quick little thing that I gave her before I merged the call. Okay. And then when Kathy's done, she's going to say, Pam, it was so great chatting with you. I do have to go, I have to get back to what I was doing. But great meeting you. And, I'm looking forward to maybe talking with you again soon. Okay. And I go, Kathy, thanks so much for taking a few minutes out to talk to Pam. I just really felt like you guys, relate to each other. We'll talk later, Kathy. And then I let Kathy hang up, and then I go back to Pam. And then I go, so Pam, I said, so wasn't Kathy's story amazing? Like, she's so inspirational. So when I bring Kathy on, I want to make sure that I edify her, right? I'm going to, when I introduce her to Pam, I'm going to say maybe 3 things that I really love about Kathy. 3 things maybe that something that she's accomplished in this industry or in this business, or something about Kathy to make Pam go, wow, I want to listen to her. Okay? Kathy hangs up. I talk again with Pam. I ask if she has any questions. I let her talk. If it kind of gets closed at that point and I can't get, so Pam, are you ready to get started today? Or can you think of any, do you want to get started on the products? I really think they would be able to help you based on what you were telling me. Or, if you can't get her to close the deal, you never want to hang up without setting that next appointment. Okay? If you hang up or leave an appointment, whether it's face-to-face or whether it's on the phone, and you have not set up another appointment, then, the ball is out of your court. So you always want to keep the ball in your court. So always remember, set an appointment before you leave an appointment, whether it's a phone or whether it's in person. Always set another time. Okay, Pam, so, I know you've taken in a lot today. You've heard a little bit about my story. Now you've heard Kathy's story. You're probably in, overload information right now. So do you have some time tomorrow? Why don't I send you a couple of videos for you to review? And then why don't we hop back on the phone sometime tomorrow afternoon for a few minutes so I can answer some of your questions? Does that sound good, Pam? And Pam goes, yeah, that sounds great. So we set a time for me to call her tomorrow at, say, 3 o'clock. We hang up. I send a group of videos. I like Today is the Day. I like the 30-day cleanse and fat burning system. If she was all product, then I will send how to have a shake day, how to have a cleanse day, so she can kind of get an idea of what those days look like. If she was more about business, then of course I want to share the you share, they share, repeat video. And if she's in the industry and she just really gets this stuff, then I'm going to add on Lynn Hagedorn's 18-minute compensation video, the one where she's wearing the salmon jacket, because I think that's really, really good. So does that make sense, you guys? So, how many of you are going to start having more 3-way calls? Anybody and everybody that you talk to, you want to pull them into a 3-way. You need that third-party validation, so it's not just you. You're not the only crazy one out there that just is head over heels over this company and these products, right? There's somebody else, okay? There's a third party. And so I think that's and if they can't relate to your story, they might be able to relate to your upline story, okay? And you want to really get good at studying. When you do these 3-way calls, like, I've had Lynn and Michael do quite a bit of 3-ways with me. And I know some of you have asked them as well. Some of you have asked me. What I like when I ask them to do 3-way call is I literally study them. I'm taking notes when they're talking. I want to know the sequence of how they say things and how they segue and the questions that they ask the prospect. I want to know all of this because that is going to help me to get better. Okay, so that 3-way is for you to help you close the deal, but it's also to help you get better at maybe being that sponsor that's going to have a three-way with your team. Okay, so this week I really want to challenge you all to at least get your sponsor. Okay, and if your sponsor is not active, go one up. Go another up if you have to go up. Okay, but I want to challenge all of you to have 1, 2, or 3 three-way calls this week. Okay, and I want you to take notes when you do it. And I'll go ahead on the thread and I'll put these 10 points on there so that you can kind of know the sequence. You can kind of read through that and that kind of thing. Okay.
Hey,
right.
Rachel.
Yes.
I just have a thought on the three ways, which, you know, I think sometimes it's okay to pull in your sideline.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be your upline. So if I have somebody that has diabetes,
right,
I want to connect them with Kathy.
Yes.
You know, I want them to be able to relate to her story, you know, or a stay-at-home mom with Maury, or right? I mean, it doesn't always have to be.
That is such a great point, Pam. It really, really is. And sometimes, and that leads me to one more point, because you mentioned Kathy, and I've used Kathy a couple of times. And so I have somebody that maybe they've had some health issues or sugar issues or even diabetes. You know, we're not supposed to like go there with medical claims.
Yeah.
And I have actually set up three-way threads with Kathy because I knew that, you know, Kathy works full time, so it's not easy for her to hop on a three-way. And I also knew that the person that I linked her with also has a very hard time, you know, very busy man, you know, probably couldn't arrange a three-way call, right, between the two of them and their busy schedules. And so I put them together on a three-way thread, and I said, hey, Kathy, this is John. Hey, you know, actually I had you on with 2 Johns, didn't I, Kathy? Hey, John, this is Kathy, and I tell a little bit about Kathy, and then Kathy just kind of takes it away for me, and they go back and forth a couple of times, and I kind of let them, and then, you know, when I see that it's gone back and forth enough, I'll just say, thank you so much, Kathy. I really, really appreciate it, and then it's my job to follow up with John. So, yeah, you could do that either way. So if, of course, I had a massage therapist, I would ask Mitzi if she would do a three-way with me. If, you know, stay-at-home mom would be Maury. Somebody with health issues would be Kathy. You know, Jennifer's a Pilates teacher. Pam's into working out. Like, we all have something, right? And and if I had a man, I'd pop him on with Darren. And so we definitely, and then we have a nurse. I could hardly see you, Lisa. Are you in the dark? I was like, I see Lisa. I didn't know that was hard girl. So yeah, and then Lisa's a nurse anesthetist. So if I had somebody that was in the medical field or somebody that had a lot of kids like Donna, or a newborn like Rebecca, and so we all have a story. And so that's another reason why hopping on to these 8 o'clock Zooms with us, you're going to really get to know the team. You're really going to get to hear everybody's story because now you know Kathy's story, right? And maybe you've never heard my story. So just really get good at don't feel bad about asking. Maury, you have a question? Can you unmute?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I was thinking that here, knowing a little bit about a lot of different people's story is awesome. Maybe in our whatever group that, you know, we're on here, people that are willing to have folks call them, if they could put their phone number. I probably have 2 phone numbers out of the whole group,
Yes.
maybe you and Pam, but you know, or sharing our stories with one another, and a phone number if you're willing to be pulled in.
That sounds great. That sounds great for sure. And we can do that right on the thread for the series. I think that's a great idea.
Hey, Rachel. Has anybody ever thought, somebody like me, you know, I work 10 hours a day and then I come home and I've got grandkids living with me. So I've done three-way threads on Messenger for people. I've done them for people I don't even know. They're like, people find me on RPRR and they're like, hey, pretty please help. And I help as much as I can. But has anybody ever thought about us doing like little 1 minute, 2 minute testimony videos that we can put on real people, real results that people can, so it would be in the video section so that you could tag people to watch those? Have we ever thought about that?
You know, it's Lynn's page, so it's something that we can ask her, you know, maybe message her. I mean, you always have such great ideas, Kathy, so maybe message her and see how she feels about that, because it's kind of like that old pin post, right? With the little story with the photos that's now.
Yeah, the Instagram stories, the little My Stories. And I don't know if you all have noticed now Messenger does it where you can do My Day on Messenger. It's crazy. I think they're trying to keep up with Instagram. But
Kathy, I would say even if we aren't encouraged to put them on Real People, Real Results, if we share them with one another so that we all know, well, I know Kathy's video, I can access that on YouTube or whatever platform we save them on, even so our team has access to the different videos and can share them, send them via Messenger to someone, even if they're not on Real People, Real Results.
That's a great idea, Maureen. I have a YouTube channel. So if you guys have never been on it, it's, just Rachel Gershowitz. And I have a whole Isagenix folder, which I save all of the Zooms to. So our original 10 to the top, I have that all saved. And we can actually, if everybody wants to do a video of themselves and then you can send it to me, I can upload it onto my YouTube channel. And that way the team always has access to it. And, you can kind of go in on your own time and really kind of get to know everybody in that way. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, because I could upload that very easily if you just send it to me. And I think you can just send it by Messenger.
That's what I was going to say, Rachel. If we could do a video and then just have it saved somewhere where we could access it, that would be good. Because if it goes on RPR, we're going to lose it.
Right, yeah.
It's really hard to stay.
Right.
And I'm like Kathy. Kathy, I work a lot. So to have something at your fingertips is a lot easier. So if we know it's on your Zoom, then we can, on your YouTube, we can just access it fast.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd be good.
That's a great idea. Okay, so any more questions on the three-way call before we move on? Wow, it's already 8:37, you guys. This is supposed to be like 25 minutes long. Okay, so the next thing, we're always going to kind of do the same outline on this Zoom. So we're going to start with a story, then we're going to introduce a guest. They're going to share their story. We're going to go into a 10-minute lesson, which today was all about the three-way call. And then we're going to finish with mindset. Okay, so whoever the host is, they kind of pull something. So it could be a video, and that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to share one of my favorite people, and he's not a friend of mine. I've never met him before. It's Will Smith. How many of you love Will Smith? Does anybody love Will Smith? I love him. Okay, so he has this incredible video. It's about 9 minutes long. So, if you don't want to stay, it's not a big deal because I am recording this, so you'll be able to go back and watch it. But I just wanted to show it to you. Do
you want to do the wish thing real quick?
Yes. You want to go ahead and share that?
Yeah, I'll be really, really fast.
Sure.
This was an idea I ran past Rachel, and I just want you guys to think about it. You don't have to say anything tonight. We had that great call on social media, and we know that the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time periods get kind of slow, and we heard about the Wellness Wednesday. I don't know what your response is, but Wellness Wednesday for me was one of the lowest response days, no matter what I did, whether it was health tips or recipes or whatever. People are just there was nothing going on. So I was trying to come up with something, and I came up with #WishWednesday. I tried to post on my Facebook page last week. It was a little slow, but I was wondering if we did it as a team and tested it out, what would happen. But what the philosophy was to take #WishWednesday, share a story that you've heard either locally through, here our local news does something that they call Tell Me Something Good, and it ties into Make-A-Wish Foundation. And there's all kinds of stories on the local chapter websites, the national chapter websites, and I think I've never seen anybody talk about the fact that our philanthropic cause is the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So how clever could we get with maybe sharing some of those stories that it's our philanthropic cause, and have some fun with it with the e-shots, that every time we sell a box of e-shots, a donation goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So I'm just tossing it out there as an idea. I've tried different things on Facebook, and some things are like this, and some things are they're just dead. And the Wellness Wednesday was just completely dead for me.
Yeah, so, I think that's a good idea because, a lot of people are attracted to causes, right? So maybe they're not attracted to products so much or the business so much, but they sure love to help, right? And so, why don't we as a team kind of adopt that hashtag? And then because it is tied to the e-shot, we can kind of make that can be our power post for Wednesday, right? We can have a picture of us drinking our e-shot or cheersing our e-shots with our family or whatever the case may be, or at the gym. And then, creating, a post of the day. And then at the very end, saying something about how our company partners with Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, I used the Make-A-Wish logo, a picture of a little girl, and I shared a local story. And then I gave a little plug for the e-shots.
I love it.
I don't know. It's just an idea. If maybe people are more creative than I am and can do something and run with it.
Oh, yeah. Pam and I were talking, like, it's a full-time job trying to figure out how to keep ourselves looking interesting on social media, right?
Exactly.
We need ideas. So if you guys have any good ones, definitely share them. My goodness. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to share this mindset video. Hopefully get you all pumped up and ready for our 9 o'clock Zoom. We are on Zoom number 9 for the 10 to the top. Isn't that crazy how fast time goes? But we know tonight's going to be another good one. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and then I'll stop the recording when it's over. And then I will meet you all on at 9 o'clock, okay? And thank you guys so much for joining us. And I don't know who's on the schedule for next week.
I think me.
All right.
I think. I don't even know where I signed that up.
Okay.
Where
That's on the leaders page.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and take a peek and make sure and pick your guests. So it'll be another good one. And let's really try, we're using that thread for communication for this Zoom. So let's try and be a little bit more active on there and try and get the rest of the crew. I don't know what happened to all of them. We had like 25 people on, I think, last week. So let's continue to reach out to our team and pull them in so that they join us on this. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't share it. Hold on. I did it backwards. Where'd you go? All right. Hold on, guys.
Time with
Can y'all see it?
And
somebody unmute and say yeah.
I want to share it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I love living. I think that's infectious. It's something that you can't fake. Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, godlike feature that only the special among us will ever taste. It's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period. It's that simple.
I know who I am, and I know what I believe.
I know who I am. I know what I believe.
That's all I need to know.
And that's all I need to know. So from there, you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is we make the situation more complex than it has to be.
Because we're looking for complexity. There's got to be something complex to understand.
It can't be that easy. We didn't grow up with the sense that where we were was where we were going to be. We grew up with the sense that where we were almost didn't matter because
we were becoming
right. Something greater. The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, who have dreams, that want to do things. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft. I've never really viewed myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic. While the other guy's sleeping, I'm working. While the other guy's eating, I'm working. There's no easy way around it. No matter how talented you are, your talent is going to fail you if you're not skilled. Mm-hmm. If you don't study, if you don't work really hard and dedicate yourself to being better every single day, mm-hmm. you'll never be able to communicate with people, with your artistry, the way that you want. So the only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. But if we get on the treadmill together, right, there's two things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. It's really that simple.
One summer, his dad tore down a brick wall on the front of his business and told 12-year-old Will and his 9-year-old brother to rebuild it, a job they said was impossible. It took them a year and a half, but they didn't.
And he said, now don't you ever tell me it's something that you can't do. You don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. And you do that every single day.
And soon you have a wall.
And soon you have a wall. You know, it's an idea that my grandmother always had, that if you're going to be here, then there's a necessity to make a difference. She always instilled the responsibility, the spiritual responsibility that you have to make every group you come in contact with better. I want to do good. I want the world to be better because I was here. I want my life, I want my work, my family, I want it to mean something. And it's like, if you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time. You know, like your life will become better by making other lives better. I want to represent an idea. I want to represent possibilities. I want to represent the idea that you really can make what you want. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. And I just believe that. I believe that I can create whatever I want to create. The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A. I think that there's a certain delusional quality that all successful people have to have. You have to believe that something different than what has happened for the last 50 million years of history. You have to believe that something different can happen. Confucius said, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. Being realistic is the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity. Why would you be realistic? What's the point of being realistic?
Just put up a barrier.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. It's done. It's already done. The second I decide it's done, it's already done. So now we just got to wait for y'all to see. It's unrealistic to walk in a room and flip a switch and lights come on. That's unrealistic. Fortunately, Edison didn't think so. It's unrealistic to think you're going to bend a piece of metal and fly people over an ocean in that metal. That's unrealistic. But fortunately, the Wright brothers and others didn't believe that. And it just seems like such a ridiculous idea to me to embrace the idea that it's not going to happen. That's not real for that to happen. As soon as you say it, now you just made that real. Our thoughts, our feelings, our dreams, our ideas are physical in the universe. That if we dream something, if we picture something, if we commit ourselves to it, that is a physical thrust towards realization that we can put into the universe. That the universe is not a thing that's going to push us around. That the world and people and situations are not something that are going to push us around. That we are going to bend the universe and command and demand that the universe become what we want it to be. I study the patterns of the universe. There's a redemptive power that making a choice has, rather than feeling like you're at effect to all the things that are happening. make a choice, right? You just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way. It's like it's water. It wants to move and go around stuff. You know. There's a flow of the universe that I've grown to know just how to go with it. I realize that to have the level of success that I want to have, it's difficult to spread it out and do multiple things. It takes such a desperate, obsessive focus. You really got to focus with all of your fiber and all of your heart and all of your creativity. I'm motivated by fear.
Fear.
You know?
Fear of what?
That fear of fear. I hate being scared to do something. And I think what developed in my early days was the attitude that I started attacking things that I was scared of.
It was Franklin Roosevelt said the only fear you have to fear is fear itself.
Absolutely.
Remember that?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't be scared to die for the truth. The truth is the only thing that's ever going to be constant. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right? You got a dream. You got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
Love it. Figure out how to come back to y'all. Go pause, stop sharing. All right, y'all are still there. Oh my gosh, is that so good or what? I love all the bullet points. Everything is all us. So on the thread, if you can go in and just post your aha on that video so that the ones who missed it are going to kind of wonder what you're posting and why. And I'll go ahead and I'll get this uploaded to YouTube and I'll post this as well. And then we have a 7-minute potty break before we hop on LinZoom. Thank y'all so much for hopping on. Spread the word so we get more people on next week, okay? And 3-way calls. How many of you are going to have 1 3-way call? 2? 3? All right. Okay. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.